Well, good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today, you have the Rhino, and we're going to be looking at some beers and possibly chatting to some friends, all live right here, because I have no drinking beer, and that means that we got to use review beer. So the first beer we're going to have tonight, and like I said, we'll chat through things, is from District Brewing Company here in Regina, Saskatchewan. This is District Brewing Company's Passion Fruit Sour. Their key lime sour was really good. Their strawberry rhubarb sour, it was okay. Their mango sour, again, okay. I do like passion fruit, and I find passion fruit does make a very good sour. I do like the look of the beer. I don't necessarily like the golden text myself, but it is what it is. And the only reason I don't like it is I can't always see it. And I mean, there you go. What's this here? The old Desperado. I miss the Basement Crew as well. They are mostly all over Ontario still, but I don't talk to all of them as much as I used to. Talk to James on occasion. Talk to Lachlan on occasion. Boychuk on occasion. The Cantankerous Cook on occasion. Ali Alejandro I haven't spoken to in a long time. Not that there's anything wrong with him. I just haven't spoken to him in a long time. I found out the Honey Monster actually lives here in Saskatchewan as well, but he lives in Saskatoon, so about 2.5 hours away. Small world that we both ended up in Saskatchewan. Redheaded Step Nothing, haven't talked to her in forever. Ginger Snatch, have her on Facebook, haven't talked to her in forever. The Commander, haven't talked to her since my divorce. She went the opposite direction of me and went with the ex. Who else was there? The Pants. I talked to the Pants and the other husband every once in a while. The Rain Man isn't with us anymore. Yeah, I can't even remember who else there was. Hey, Drew. Why aren't you here, Drew? Why don't you come and join me, Drew? No, we haven't done a reunion. I haven't been back to Ontario since 2023. 2023 was the last time I was in Ontario. We moved. Well, I shouldn't say last time I was in Ontario because the last time I was working for the Northwest Company, we were on Ontario, but we were in a fly-in only reserve in Northern Ontario. And so no, I haven't been to the regular portions of Ontario since 2023, since the summer of 2023. The last person I saw in Ontario was probably Brian, and Brian was never on these videos. But he was the last one I'd probably seen of my old crew I used to hang out with. You'll be exactly one turn and 5 hours away from me when you're in Winnipeg there, Drew.
Not a turn.
You're right, it's kind of just a lean, eh?
There's not even a...
Hey.
We only turned because we were going to the other side of Regina, so we had to get off on the ring road and go around. That's the only turn we had, but...
You're actually right, eh?
Literally a straight drive.
Because it was straight right to Brandon, and then we're basically parallel to Brandon. It was the straightest, most boring road we've ever been on. 5 hours straight. She could have fallen asleep and we would have still made it to our house.
You didn't have to drive it. Trust me. You have no idea how boring that was. Because I couldn't fall asleep.
Oh, and the man-child. The man-child is still doing his army stuff. I believe he's in... where is he now? He's not in the Niagara region anymore. I think Meaford. I think he lives in Meaford now.
Is he still with his girlfriend? All your friends' relationships are falling apart. It makes me sad.
Yeah. Ken's still with Melody.
Okay, at least one of them survived.
Yeah, Ken's still with Melody.
Yeah, a lot of the other ones haven't.
Simon's still with Vanessa.
We didn't really talk to Simon and Vanessa.
No, but he's still with Vanessa.
Well, yeah, they're married though, and like had a kid, so it's a little more stable.
What do we got going on? Cheers from your favorite Ontarian. What's going on, Paul? So yeah, we have the passion fruit sour. And yeah, like I said, the honey monster / honey badger, he is in Saskatoon. And again, it's kind of weird to me that we both ended up in Saskatchewan. Because when do you both end up in Saskatchewan? Like, who ends up in Saskatchewan? But he does comedy shows there. He does stand-up comedy, and he goes to school. And yeah, found out from the last time I talked to Boychuk, I found out that the Honey Monster was in Saskatoon. We are planning to go to Saskatoon at some point, aren't we? Maybe I'll introduce you to Tim. A little hazy. Smells like stone fruit. I mean, you get the passion fruit, you get the apricot, you get the peach. It smells the way it's supposed to. We're just wasting time until Brian joins us or anyone else goes, "Hey, I wanna come in," and yeah.
Hey, I want to come in.
I want to come in, if you know what I mean.
How did I know that would be my response?
Brian's just setting his stuff up, he says. Yeah, it smells the part. Sorry, guys, she's getting dressed, so I gotta.
I'm putting my Udi on.
That's getting dressed.
I'm dressed. I'm putting on an extra layer of warmth.
It's only -1 out.
The biggest shapeless fucking thing I can find.
It still turns me on.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. I may want to beat you sometimes, but I do love you.
I like when you beat me. She's gonna beat me.
You put my cookies, you motherfucker?
No, I didn't touch your fucking cookies.
I'm missing fucking cookies.
Then talk to the little one with the 11 fingers.
Two of my cookies are missing.
I have not touched your cookies because I don't want to lose my nuts.
I'm gonna steal fucking Joe Louis.
That's why I don't touch your fucking cookies. Stay the fuck out of my shit. Don't get married. Ow! James saw that.
Great, don't care. Would he like a repeat performance?
No, he doesn't want a repeat performance. That was a code green. Workplace violence.
You're not in the workplace.
Who said I don't work at home?
Oh, okay.
Because I'm the one who drives, cooks, does dishes.
Why don't you just saunter somewhere else with your cookies? Maybe later. Bye. Love you.
Did she frisk your pockets?
No, she didn't. Why would she frisk my pockets? I don't have her cookies. How are you, sir?
Fucking sore after yesterday, man. Holy shit.
It's not a bad beer. It's not a good beer.
I'm just drinking a bottled Heineken.
Ooh. Ooh.
No, after yesterday, almost 19,000 steps. That was holy shit.
Good day, Jay knows the way. Cheers. And my nuts aren't necessarily food, but they can create food.
What
Nut
the fuck
butter.
conversation did I just come into?
That's what she said. So yeah. Yeah.
So did you work today?
No. No, I did not. I had today off. I slept until about noon because I didn't go to sleep until 5 a.m. And yeah.
I was exhausted last night, but for some reason, even after taking my sleeping pill, I didn't fall asleep till 1 a.m.
No, well, because I'm doing that midnight shift right now. I got home by the time I'm done watching a few videos. It's late, and then if my wife is actually asleep, I'll go play some video games or harass the cat or the dogs. I like to harass the dogs because they like to keep me up when I'm trying to sleep. So I like to go up and like poke at their ears and
Basically, revenge annoyance.
yep. And they both look at me like if you didn't feed me, we would kill you.
Well, you do have a Saint Bernard. Cujo does come to mind.
I should have named him Cujo.
Anybody your generation, like your age group and older, would have freaked out. Especially if you got out of the yard and you were calling him.
Oh, it's when you take them for a walk down here, right? Because we are ghetto adjacent. So if you walk to the right street, people are like looking out the windows at the dog walking by. I wonder where he's from. And then you bring the smaller one out, who's not much smaller, but she is smaller, and she's the one that you should actually be scared of. But
I've met dachshunds that'll make your fucking ankles cringe, man.
so because we're doing a little bit of reviews as we go, because I'm out of normal beers, I would probably give that a 6. Give that a 6. If anyone has a chance to have it, it's okay to try. It's just not really a reason to go out of your way. But they are available pretty much all over Saskatchewan, but I don't think anyone else would find them. And I'm just tapping it in right now.
It's either I'm having problems or you're having problems, but every so often your screen goes black and does the little dial thing and pops back up again.
Well, okay, guys. Am I having problems or is James having problems? There's some of you watching, so I'm sure one of you can tell me. My next beer is from Blythe, Ontario, and it is Cowbell's Sunsplash Session IPA.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you a question. With the possibility of them turning around and breaking down interprovincial trade barriers, how do you feel about that with the possibility of beer coming across borders?
Oh, I'm okay with that. I think the beer from other provinces will be still more expensive than the stuff we have here, solely because you're now paying tax here, you're paying tax there, and you're paying the shipping. But it does make it that you can get a lot more things.
Yeah, it also opens up the market a little bit so we can actually try different ones, maybe.
Yep. And 4.3% alcohol for this guy. And this guy was bought at Urban Cellars on Quant Street in Regina.
I'm going to have to start doing artwork. Burnings. I need money for beer.
So do I. I actually had a piece of wood in my hand on Friday, and I'm like, I bet you James would like this. It was like a perfect 8x11 square of wood that came out of a box of something that I was throwing out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I had an 8x11 piece, but I ended up using it as a sign, just wrote on it with Sharpie, because any deliveries we get, because Paula works nights sometimes, they ring the damn doorbell. Like, fuck. So I just stuffed the thing in the mailbox right above the doorbell. Do not ring doorbell. Shift worker sleeping. Please and thank you.
All right. Ooh,
That's kind of a Bergen or an amber.
I really
Kind of
like
a-
that. I like that haziness. It's hazy crazy. You can't see your hand through it.
That is kind of cool.
Oh, and the nice snap, crackle, pop. I like that. Visually, I really do like that. And it smells like soap and citrus fruit. Yay.
Did they add cilantro?
Oh, I hope not.
That'd be a really bad beer. Somebody making cilantro beer. Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm curious how much beer is going to go up in price next week, because most aluminum cans in Canada are made in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Like this one, for instance, which is made at Crown Holdings. And Crown is, sorry, where's my finger? There we go. Crown Holdings. And they are an American company. You really have two choices. You can get your can. Most of your cans will come from Ball or from Crown, or they'll come from China. So, you know, if you're buying Crown or Ball. And I guess it'll only really affect the people that don't buy in huge bulk. Like, it'll affect the ones that buy in huge bulk as well. But the guys that are buying entire flats of cans, like by the flat, they're not paying as much as the guys that are like, I just need like a couple hundred. And then it matters too if you're going to do artwork on it, or if you're just going to buy like a silver bullet and wrap it with a sticker.
Yeah. Kind of makes you wonder if somebody's going to open up a factory here just to make cans.
Well, I mean, we sell most of the aluminum to the U.S. and then they sell the cans back to us. So making a factory would probably be reasonable, but whether or not somebody does.
Well, that's like the forming factories for steel and crap. They already have the ones down in Ontario for building cars. I don't see why they don't expand it.
Come on, fit, damn you, fit.
I honestly think it's you that's blacking out a bit, man.
I don't know. I haven't seen your screen black out yet. But like I said, I had to ask the viewership, but I haven't heard from them yet, so I don't know.
Well, it
I don't even
doesn't
know if
help
they're
that
all
I can't
watching.
seem to keep myself in frame. I keep just getting the top of my nose to the top of my head. I need to stop looking at the other picture and look at the one I'm actually supposed to be looking at.
Oh, there's 4 of you watching right now. Talk to us, guys. Talk to us. We're waiting for Brian. What do we want to talk about? What do we want to do? What do we want to say? I'm wearing my pretty shirt, my PV Mark shirt.
How many times have you been asked in the past couple of weeks as to whether or not we're closing?
A couple. Okay, see, we're all looking great. The only one that's not looking great is right here. Brian, who just entered the chat.
Oh dear.
Actually, I'm waiting for Brian to get here because there is a lot of beer news from Ontario. There's been a lot of breweries that have closed. There's been a lot of breweries that have changed hands. There's been a lot of interesting things going on in Ontario, beer market wise. And it's one of those, and some of the breweries that closed, I'm like, yeah, it's not a big loss. Other than the job losses, the job losses are horrible, and the loss of the money you put in, like the loss on your investment and stuff, is horrible. But a lot of the breweries that have folded were never anything all that big, and they opened up in places that already had like 40 breweries. Like there's 2 Toronto breweries that closed. Toronto has like 65 breweries in it. You didn't need another one. Yes, it has a lot of population, but sooner or later you dilute the stream.
What did you think about Doug Ford turning around saying he was shutting down all the American booze coming into the province there.
It was actually kind of funny to me when he did it. And I kind of am waiting for Brian, too, to ask about that because I'd like to know, do they still have some American booze at his place? And what are they switching to once they're out? Because once the LCBO stops having anything in the pipeline, you can't really get it elsewhere otherwise.
Yeah, like American, well, not just American, just bourbon in general, you can't even get.
Well, I was seeing commercials online and on Instagram and stuff for some Canadian whiskey makers, and they're like, "This is Canadian bourbon." I'm like, "No, it isn't Canadian bourbon. Bourbon is called bourbon for a reason."
Yes, it's an American drink. Canadian whiskey is whiskey. We don't make bourbon here.
Yeah, all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon.
Mm-hmm. We make what we call rye, which is way too sweet, and if you have any heritage of a certain type, you can grow feathers from it.
Just like all cognac is brandy, but not all brandy is cognac.
Oh, yeah.
All lambics are beer, but not all beer is lambics.
Not everything's an IPA either.
Not every champagne is, every champagne is sparkling wine, but not every sparkling wine is champagne.
Unless it tickles your nose, it's not. That went way fast. Wish they made
No
a Heineken
change
in much
yet.
bigger bottles.
No change yet. Champagne. Lol. I will be on shortly. That's what I hope my wife says later.
Wait, that's not a good idea if she's calling it shortly.
No, she'll get on it shortly.
Sorry, I'm an asshole.
As long as there's not lasagna there.
I saw that video and I have to send that.
So I have a group of like a few different people that I send different types of videos to. And a lot of the really weird ones I send to Jen. And apparently I sent one to her while she was sitting at her desk and she started cracking up. And the boss asked her what she was watching. So she showed her and she said, "Who sent this to you?" She said, "Chad." And she goes, "You two have problems." You're right, we do.
Well, see, I'm a little worried to send her stuff like that. She doesn't look at my stuff for like 3 days, and then she goes, "Oh my God," and starts laughing. I think she's afraid to look at my shit.
I'd be afraid to look at your shit. I've seen the things you eat.
Well, okay, well, that's fair. That's fair, but I do cook my own food.
So because I'm doing these as reviews as well, because all I had was review beers, so I decided to do impromptu reviews while we're doing this. The Sunsplash, not a lot of flavor, has a lot more smell. Little piffy. It's like you took a bite into like an orange peel. Get that citrusy bitterness. Little tiny bit of citrusiness, and a tiny bit of those like seashell hand soaps your grandmother would have in her bathroom that you weren't allowed to use. A little bit of that back there too. So out of 10 on that, probably a 6. I wouldn't buy it again, but hey, it's not horrendous.
Dude, you just gave me flashbacks to being 5 and my mom buying freaking Avon.
Why don't you see? Oh, the weird ones. Oh, you're talking about the videos. Okay, I'll send you more of them. I'll send you more of them, Brian. The thing is,
send them the lasagna.
The lasagna. I'll send you the lasagna one too. But yeah, no, like, so Jen has the same position as I do. So a lot of times it's very work related, and we both have a very similar sense of humor, which is scary sometimes.
Sometimes?
Well, the worst part is I know how to get her really angry. So sometimes I'll push those buttons and run out of the office. So if you ever see me come out of the office quickly, I'm usually running for my life.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm afraid of offending people for the simple fact is that I don't want them having an aneurysm. And I think if I sent them some of the stuff I've sent you, they'd go, okay, we need to fire him or get him mental help.
Well, that's why I don't send anything I send to them, to the blonde lady. She only finds out about it via proxy.
Did I send you the kid? Get in, Toots.
Yeah.
I said that to Trish and Laura and Tippy, and they all just killed themselves laughing over it.
Okay, next beer for the night is 5% alcohol. It is a Schwarz beer from Torchlight Brewing Company, and I believe they're in Alberta. No, they're in BC. They're in Nelson, BC. So Torchlight Brewing Company's limited run black lager.
I wonder if they're fans of the game Torchlight.
I don't know, but there is a brewery in Calgary, or is it Edmonton? It's in Alberta. It's either Calgary or Edmonton. They're called Analog Brewing, and every one of their beers is named something video game related, and it's always like 8-bit graphic art on the can.
Well, the reason I'm asking about Torchlight is if they have a Diablo and a Torchlight, they're fans of Blizzard Entertainment.
There's their label.
Interesting.
I've always wanted to try, and I don't try it at the same time because I don't want to die, but I've always wanted to try like the electric etching in wood, the almost like fracking that they do.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to do something like that, I've run into two people where we work, artists that have come in that have stood there and talked to me. There was a young woman. She was maybe 25, maybe. She was looking for certain things to be able for her father because he's kind of artistic, but she was looking at Christmas. She does it. She goes, I said, that's kind of dangerous. She looks at me, she goes, no, I'm completely fine. I said, oh, she goes, yeah, I stand 10 feet away and I unplug everything before I ever walk back to it.
Well, that's a smart way to go. I mean, I've heard lots of horror stories about people playing with that stuff. I think it looks really awesome. I've seen so many, like, when I used to do my custom woodwork, I would do stuff with Lee Hermosa, who owned The General, which sold stuff like that. And he would have cutting boards and stuff that were made by a guy that did it. Yep. And they looked amazing. They really did. I was just never willing to pay the like $400 for a cutting board. I'm like, yeah, that's a plank of wood. Yeah. I make most of your planks of wood. I'm not paying for that plank of wood.
Well, this young lady was making things like crib boards.
Okay.
Which was actually kind of neat. I went and said to her, I actually asked her about a cutting board. She goes, no, I won't do that. I said, oh, she goes, yeah, with all of the epoxy that you would have to use to fill the gaps, she goes and says, you'd end up cutting that stuff up and getting it in your food. So I won't do anything like that. I went, fair enough. And there was the other guy that came in, he had to be in his 60s, and he was doing it. And he was talking about the fact that he had, as weird as this sounds, he said he had taken a railway tie and cut it so that it was planks, made a big thing, and then burned each plank and put it together. Which was kind of neat, but I'm kind of like, with that amount of creosote, would that have not been dangerous?
When we were doing, when we were setting the General up, we were redoing its front, and the General was it was owned by the guy that owns Brimstone Brewing Company, and Brimstone Brewing Company is where I used to host my beer festival. So when we were fixing the General up, which was just down the street and around the corner, Lee wanted to redo their whole front, and the whole front roof was held up with railway ties. So by the time we were done cutting it all down and everything, I had such a headache from all the creosote just up in the air. I'm like, I'm dying. I gotta go.
Well, that's crazy because I've been around one of my friends when they moved from out of town into town where they were living in the small town. They had to get rid of all the stuff they had in their yard, which included pallets and railway ties. He decided to burn them. We burned them, but I had a headache for fucking weeks. It was just a bad idea. And what's really unique about creosote soaked ties, when they burn, the flames are a lemon yellow, an electric lemon yellow.
I've never been dumb enough to burn a railway tie, so I would not have known that. That's an interesting thing.
Well, I didn't want to burn them. He threw them on because he was kind of like, "We got to get rid of these too." I said, "Well, why don't we just haul those away?" He goes and says, "Because it'd take too much to haul them away." And they had a burning thing that you're allowed to do in that town. So,
Good day, Brian.
Hello.
Hello. So the cartoon to the old Desperado, that would be James. So yeah, I do talk to James on occasion, not as often as I used to. And Lachlan would be the Reverend. And the Reverend, I talk to him off and on. Half the time he doesn't have Facebook, then sometimes he does. He does hit Winnipeg 3 times a year, so I've been trying to. I sent him a message that I'm 5 hours away from Winnipeg. You should come and visit, and we'll see what happens. But when I lived in Welland, when I moved out of Niagara Falls to Welland, he was the manager at the Artistic Impressions Tattoo Parlor, which was right around the corner from me. And I lived in Welland for an entire year. And in that entire year, I wasn't once able to get the man to fucking come around the corner to visit me because he lived above the fucking place too. Like that was part of his wage was he got to live above it. And I'm like, we are a 2.5 minute walk from each other. Come over and let's play video games or watch movies or drink or do whatever. And it never happened. And I mean, I could have probably went over there too, but by the time he was done work, if I went over there, he would have already been drunk. And he had a coffin for a coffee table, and it weirded me out. I was always afraid somebody was going to jump out of it at me.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When we can get together to do more reviews, let me know. I'll send you my schedule so we can figure out something.
All right.
I have no objection to it. It's just that I know yours and my schedule are so backwards right now. I don't even know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, because I'm not on my old rotation anymore. I'm on Corey's rotation now.
Yeah.
Oh, that smells nice.
Do you guys ever work at the same time?
Oh yeah, we it's just we don't usually have the same days off, or we're on opposite shifts.
Yeah, we're on slightly opposite shifts. Like Chad will either be there early or I'll be there early, and one of us ends up working later.
Oh, okay.
And where I live, I'm 20 minutes away from town, where he lives in town.
Yeah, and like right now, I'm on a midnight rotation because I'm working with the night team right now. So it's odd.
Still have some of these left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, it's too bad. I sent Nick an invite too, and I said, Nick, you should come. I bet you Brian has an innocent gun he can drink with you.
Yeah. I only drink them with you on here, so I think I have 2 more left.
Okay. So because, like I said, we're doing little impromptu videos on each of these. This one, it is a black lager. It does have the coffee. It does have the burnt. It does have the molasses, all that. But it's so fucking watery that this would be great to like get my dad into black lagers. I can't say it's a bad Schwarzbier. It's not a bad Schwarzbier at all. I'd probably give that a 7 out of 10. I'd buy it again. But that is not very flavorful. But it's nice. It's just not very flavorful.
That's sad. Because you got me hooked on dark lager when we went to do the first reviews dressed as Santa and the Grinch. You got me hooked on those, man.
Actually, tonight I am reviewing this. I was trying to hold it off, but it's getting old. I checked its date, and it is the Grinch.
Oh shit.
I was going to keep it for when we got together next, but it's actually a year old already, so I want to get rid of it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize it was that old when I picked it up because I picked it up in December.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't want a green beer going green for some reason.
Well, I don't think it's going to be green. I think it's going to be brown.
Different shade of green.
It might be green when it comes up.
Or out. Our beer is brown, but when you go to the bathroom, it dyes your insides green for a week. Okay,
We got to get you out of round number scoring. It's for rookies.
Who? Me?
Oh, Jay knows the way. Well, I use the 10-point scale, Jay, and I know you were talking about the fact that if I gave something a rating above 5, it shouldn't be something I would ever not drink again. The way I look at it is the first 2, like 1 and 2, are for beers I will never touch again. They're fucking gross. Why the fuck would you drink these type of things? 2.25 to 5 is okay. If you told me my wife would be killed if I didn't drink it, or I had to drink it, or stuff like that, like I will kill you if you don't. I'll drink it, but it's not good. For me, like 5 to 6, 7, 5 is if somebody else paid for it, I have no problem, but I'm not paying my own money for it. And then 7 and up is the stuff that I would legitimately pay for again. And once you hit 9 and up, that's the stuff I will go out of my way to get.
Well, my camera should be less shaky now. I'm not holding the phone directly.
The albino rhino came around the corner. Oh, shit! Who unplugged my microphone?
That's a rookie move.
Well, luckily I have like 4 mics on this right, because I have the default mic, I have the mic that's on the secondary web camera that I use for if I'm doing video game videos, and then I have this microphone, and this microphone's always been plugged in, which means somebody has been playing with my computer.
Yeah, maybe your wife's on OnlyFans again.
No, my wife has her own computer.
Her own computer for OnlyFans?
No, I'm the only one with an OnlyFans.
Ah,
I have my Naughty Santa channel.
I'm not doing a Naughty Grinch channel. Fuck that.
You should. You guys
The only
collaborate.
stuff I have on the
Think
Naughty Santa
of the collab for that one.
The only stuff that's on the Naughty Santa channel so far is my boudoir session up in the Arctic on the tundra.
I'm gonna be honest, Brian. With the amount of time it takes to get the Grinch off, just on the normal body parts, fuck that. I'm not putting them anywhere else.
You just say something about getting the Grinch off.
Yeah, off of me.
Mm-hmm.
He most certainly did.
I can admit, I get the Grinch off every year, at least twice.
It's not only his heart that grew 2 sizes.
I went to Whoville and it grew 3.
So next year, if you
sorry.
let's say if you guys dress up for work next year, you have to make sure you have a fish bowl. See how many people catch that.
Oh, for fuck no.
Sometime this year I'm going to buy Santa boots because I left both pairs of my Santa boots. I left both pairs of my Santa boots in the Arctic when I moved out.
Oh man.
And then because I didn't think about buying them until close to Christmas, the $60 Santa boots were like $140. And I'm like, nope, refuse to pay that.
You better buy them before the tariffs come in.
No, they come from China. It's okay.
I'm not going to turn around and ask Chad to throw his keys into a fishbowl with me.
But what I was going to say to Jules is I did see your comment and I just haven't responded to it yet. I'm not always the fastest at responding to them. I try to respond to everything. But I fully agree with you to an extent is just make a fucking beer. So I did a cookie stout. I've done 2 cookie stouts in the last couple weeks, and I did a cookie stout for Multinational. And it was actually really good. And Jay Knows the Way brought up, just make a stout. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes you want a cookie. And then I had another cookie stout from Lake of Bays in Ontario. And my fucking God, was that a horrible fucking beer. Like a horrible beer. And why? Why even make it? And he went off on it, and I went off on it, and I fully agree. To an extent, some breweries should just stay in their lanes. And I don't understand the marketing behind a lot of this stuff. Like, hey, if we get artificial cookie flavoring and put it in this beer, it's going to be good. No, it's not. It's not going to be good. It's not. It's just not. Stop. Just make a fucking beer. If you don't know how to do something else, just make the beer. Just make the beer.
See, I'm wondering, when you make a beer, how the heck do you get the chocolate flavor in there? Is it an artificial flavor or is it a real flavor?
You can do it in lots of different ways. You can use cocoa nibs, or you can use certain types of malts that will have a deeper, darker flavoring. You can use real chocolate, or you can use flavoring because you don't know how to brew and you just want to use the flavoring.
Gotcha.
Maple beers are one of the hardest, though, because when you put if you put maple syrup in your beer, you have a very good chance, depending on when you put the maple syrup. Well, okay, if you want it to be really fresh tasting, like real maple syrup, like good maple syrup, not like fucking Aunt Jemima or something, but you want, or what is it called now? Pearl Harbor, I think? No, not
Pearl Mills.
Pearl Mills. Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor.
So
The Japanese syrup.
If you want real
Japanese made
maple syrup flavor, and you just pour the maple syrup in the beer, depending on when you put it in the beer, you're either going to have a really high ABV beer, or you're going to have a beer that is sour because it's gone bad, or you're going to have a beer that you go to open it up and the top blows off and you think somebody shot you because it got infected. And I've had all 3 of those variants happen. And I've had all 3 of those variants happen from commercial breweries and from my own self brewing with real syrup. But there are some things that are easier to use the flavoring than to use the real stuff. As much as I don't want to admit it, because I really want you to use real fruit in a lot of your beers and all that. Blueberries are one of the ones where using blueberry flavoring is probably easier than using blueberries because pomegranate. Think about how many pomegranates you would need to get a pomegranate flavor out of a pomegranate into like a 600-liter batch of beer, because like you have to get all the juice out of those tiny little seeds.
Yes. That's where you just go buy yourself a flat of palm. It's real. And you can use the bottles for OnlyFans videos.
I'm not stuffing them up my ass.
No, you have to hang them off the front.
Jingle balls. I mean,
The glass dong.
Oh, excuse me. Next will be the Grinch from Bridge Brewing.
From where?
Sorry, from North Shore, Bridge Brewing in North Shore, Vancouver.
Okay.
The Grinch Winter Seasonal Ale.
Brian,
Have you had? Yeah.
does he keep blacking out with that little ring appearing every so often, or is it just me seeing that shit?
That's just you.
Okay.
It's because he's out in the boonies of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's just a buffering thing.
Yeah, that's
Do
what
I
I
have
was wondering, because you're doing it once in a while, but he's doing it more often, and I'm like, what's going on?
On my end, everything's good.
And
Is the
actually, it's fully just you, because everybody said even you're looking okay. So it's not even happening to you.
Okay, so I got to check to see what I've got an extender, so I'm wondering whether or not my phone decided to attach to that or the normal thing.
Oh. Ah.
So the Grinch from Bridge Brewing Company. It's a winter ale at 6.5% alcohol by volume, and it has a big old spiel on here. "'Tis again the season, the time of year where the brewers at Bridge create Christmas beer. But the pressure was on. They felt the pinch. Could they create a good Mr. Grinch? They stewed and reviewed about the brew to debut. They finally approved this beer just for you. It pours a dark brown with a slight hint of red. It's a rich winter warmer that will leave you well fed. Notes of caramel and treacle, all things good. There's even a hint of Granny's plum pud." I don't want my Granny's plum pud in my mouth, okay? "With ho-ho hops from New Zealand to add notes of pine." Why the fuck would you fucking... "And some soft Christmas spices. It's truly sublime. So it's some true Christmas cheer you seek in a cinch. Simply place an order today for the very limited Mr. Grinch." It can't be all that fucking limited. I found it at the Great Canadian Superstore in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Okay,
Just saying.
the worry that I have is that it's going to taste like Buckley's now.
Well, and if you're looking for pine, if you're looking for a hop to give you pine, you didn't have to use a New Zealand hop. There's a lot of American hops and Canadian hops that have pine in them as the main flavor. There is no reason, but wow, that's nicer head than I get from my wife.
Does she watch your channel, sir?
Every once in a while.
She doesn't watch the live.
Crackle Pop is amazing.
Hold it up to the mic for us.
My ex-wife watches the lives.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, stick that mic in the...
Well, see, I don't know. I don't know the
darker than
sound quality.
brown.
Did the sound quality get better when I actually got this plugged in?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
You're clear.
It certainly did, didn't it? Oh,
Yeah, that's really clear, yeah.
Well,
Turn this into an ASMR video.
Oh, yeah. The albino rhino is here.
well, when you deep throat the mic,
There we go.
So is this your first beer from this company
Where's my phone?
that you can think of?
Let's find I can think of off the top of my head, yes, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's find out. Okay, so let's go back. We're looking for the Bridge Brewing Company.
Have you come across anything that really stuck out with you lately, beer-wise? Something new, something different?
Not fully, but I mean, I haven't been having a lot of beers lately, right?
Oh, did you see Counterpart has like 12 beers coming out next month and then next week?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So I think I'll probably have to grab some for you.
Okay, I do have your box in my fridge. I haven't sent it out because last week it was like -50 out most of the week.
Oh yeah.
This week it was okay, but I didn't get paid this week.
Yeah,
I
no
spent
worries.
my money. Okay, let's see. What have I had from them? I have had a few.
Okay.
not a huge
How
amount.
long ago? Do you see the date?
Yeah, I can see everything. So I've had 5 beers from them in the past.
Okay.
So North Shore Pale Ale, and I had that in 2019, and it would have been right before I moved to the Arctic. It would have been like the day before I flew out.
Oh wow. Like, was that when you were in Winnipeg?
No, that would have been right before I left Welland.
Okay. I wasn't sure, like, if you're the leaving Welland or the leaving Winnipeg.
And then I would have had the Lemon Gin Saison while I was in Winnipeg. No, that was 2016. Okay, so that one is 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I had their Wunderbar Kolsch
Wonderbar.
in 2016. Their Belgian Roubois in 2016. Same day. So this would have been all one recording session in my basement with the guys. And then the Bourbon Blood Orange wheat beer in 2015.
Interesting. What do you still have that up by any chance, or did you already close it?
I can open it again. What do you need?
No, I'm just curious what your rankings were on those beers, like roughly, like just like you don't need to specify, just like they're
Okay, North Shore Pale Ale. I gave it a mark that I would have bought it again. The same with the lemon gin saison and the Wunderbar Kolsch. I really liked the Belgian Roubois, and I did not like the bourbon blood orange.
probably should have asked you this
And I
after
wrote
you
on
had
that
this
one.
beer.
I wrote on that one. Expectation management was failed on the name of this beer. No orange in the ingredients list, and bourbon poured into the beer instead of through the casks.
Ah. Now, how could you tell that difference?
I believe we would have looked it up.
Okay.
Because back then we used to do a lot of we used to
Research.
actually do some research at one point in time when we were actually considered we were never professional, but when we were considered a
Reliable?
industry person, we actually would do some research and such.
Okay.
When I left for the Arctic and I came back, I stopped caring about anything, and we just went right into the beer and we're like, I don't even know where it's from.
It's no different than a hot dog. You never know exactly where it's from.
Yeah, remember hot dogs are toenails and foreskins.
Oh,
I gotta cook the
I
toenails
called
and
it snouts
foreskins.
and assholes.
Is
I gotta cook the toenails and foreskins in a week and a half.
that just a straight up Pepsi, or you got something mixed in with it?
No fireballs mixed in with it.
Nice.
Yeah, I like cinnamon flavored antifreeze.
Yeah. I haven't had Fireball in a while as I look over at my little bottle over there.
Oh, my wife will buy me one about once a month. The big bottle. She'll buy me one about once a month. Not the 66, but she'll turn around and she'll buy me one about once a month, maybe a little bit longer, and she turns around and buys me Kraken once in a while, and I kind of savor that because that is expensive. Good, but expensive.
Never had Kraken.
Kraken
Really?
is
Because
a very, very smooth rum with a very nice dark vanilla finish.
See, I don't like the dark rums, so that's probably why I've never.
you know who loved Kraken? Mr. Venetulu. He loved the Kraken.
All I know
Yeah.
is that it's got a nice burnt oaky scent to it, and it's also got a nice vanilla scent. But when you get it in your mouth, the finish is definitely nothing but vanilla, and it's clean. It doesn't burn when with Captain Morgan or something that burn
Yeah.
to get it back your throat. You don't get that with Kraken at all.
Oh,
I
and
think
what do you drink it with?
It's exceptionally smooth and very nice.
Do you mix it?
I mix it with Pepsi, or once in a while I'll drink it straight. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just
Dr. Pepper.
I haven't. My wife doesn't like the smell of Dr. Pepper, so I kind of keep it out of the area. If I get root beer, forget it, man. I'm not even allowed to hug her. Forget about kissing her. That kind of reaction for root beer. She used to work at McDonald's when she was a teenager, so when she turns around and used to smell root beer when she had to be running the fountain machine, she's like, "What?"
I used to drink so much orange drink when I worked at McDonald's.
I used to work in cleaning the keg, and their rule was the nighttime cleaners were allowed to drink as much pop as we wanted to. And it was
Oh,
all
wow.
fine. So we could stay hydrated, but we were holy sugar addicts by the time we were done, man.
Fucking the gift of diabetes, eh?
Well, fuck, that's how I got it, man. It was like probably a super big gulp or more every night of pop, whatever I wanted to drink. But theirs was Coke products.
Yeah.
Brian, I think you should move to Regina.
Oh yeah.
It is the city that rhymes with fun.
I was gonna say, is it because it's fun there, right?
Yeah, and
Chad, you been
there's a
to the
place-
lake during the summer?
there's a place I work that is hiring 2 positions that would be great for you.
Oh yeah, is it well paying?
Better paying than what you're getting right now.
Oh fuck.
And we have really good health care. Like exceptionally good health care.
You're just going to pay more property tax than you do in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
The health care that I get, I don't know about Chad's, but the health care I get is equivalent to my wife's, and she's been at the hospital for 30 years. So our plans, other than about $5 per prescription, if that, are covered.
Nice. And is that just the processing fee at the pharmacy?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Either that or it's a new drug that isn't quite covered, but our plans will do it.
Okay.
My wife, she on her plan gets 10 physical massage therapy things a year, and ours does
Rub-
too. So
Oh,
when
rubbing
mine runs
time.
out, I go on hers.
Nice.
So yeah, it's good coverage. Trust me.
Is it better than what I have currently, Chad?
In some aspects, yes. In some aspects, equivalent, and in some aspects, not quite as good.
That's
And-
like most places, right?
Yeah, there are some parts of it that are better, some parts
Yeah.
of it that aren't, and some parts of it that are the exact same. Because
No, that's
where he works there, James, it's not government work, but it's kind of a government benefits package.
That's how Paula is. She's CUPE. So she's public service, but
Yeah.
considered borderline government. She's not quite a nurse, pretty much, but good pay, good benefits, etc. Nice retirement package. So our healthcare where we work is pretty good, but it's not perfect, obviously.
Could you imagine if I was single and willing to move right now, Chad?
Tell Melissa to come to Regina. Bring the kids.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Could you imagine that? Eh? Oh, hold on, let me apply for that job. Can I use you as Can I use you as a reference?
Sure.
Would that be good or bad though?
They seem to like me for some reason. I don't know why. But
They find, how long you known Chad for? Oh, I don't know, like almost 15 years, I think. Oh God.
Yeah, Chad, the problem is they seem to like me, and I'm not sure why either. At least I think I'm liked. It's either that or they just tolerate me because I move things.
Well, we were talking about the new water tanks that are coming in, and they're like, we can't ever sell them unless Chad and James are both on the same shift.
That's not true. You know I'd pull one down without help. It doesn't mean
Yes,
it wouldn't make
but I'm
noise,
about to
but
be
it
in
would
charge
still
of the
pull it
Joint
down.
Health and Safety Committee, so you're not allowed.
Do you know how many times people watch me do stuff and don't say a damn word?
As long as you don't end up as a TikTok video like that kid at Home Depot or Lowe's getting that machine off the top.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the dude that I saw doing the squats trying to move bags of concrete while the other guy was waiting on him.
Oh yeah, into the pickup
Picking
truck.
them up one at a time and slowly moving and putting them down in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And just about died.
Yeah.
The
And the best part was I was a young kid.
The last TikTok video I watched was guys that worked for these guys
Yeah.
doing stupid things.
Are they
They
still
actually have a
30% off, or have they made it bigger?
Regina versus Saskatoon versus Winnipeg. Well, I don't want to be
Oh.
in Winnipeg, the stabbing capital of Canada.
Oh come on! But you can find underwear in the bathroom at Walmart.
You can find
We can
underwear,
find underwear in
everywhere.
our bathroom if we want.
It is true.
They're not clean.
When I was in Winnipeg for the month to train for the Northwest Company, I was sending pictures all over my Instagram and stuff of every store I'd walk into, because you'd find like random clothes everywhere as people stole new stuff and left their old stuff just on the floor. Like, and Winnipeg had like bullet holes in all their bus stations and all. No, Regina over Winnipeg for sure. I've never been to Saskatoon, but
Okay, Saskatoon, from the amount of times I've been there, is very much like being downtown all the time.
unless you're at the place we work, because apparently there's no crime there at all.
Well, no. The reason I'm saying it's like being downtown is like, you know how everything's crowded because it's a river city. They
Okay.
don't build down, they build up, and they're built close to the bloody river, so they're on both sides of the river, and they have bridges back and forth. But for some reason, they didn't spread out as much as we did. So it looks like their downtown area or their main part of town is like our downtown all the time.
Now, the reason I ended up in Jules, the reason I ended up in Regina of the main cities in Saskatchewan was job opportunities and housing opportunities. The houses, even in the better areas of town, the houses here were a lot better priced than the houses in Saskatoon. And the job market, even to right now, if you take the job bank, Sask Jobs, and Indeed all together, there is over 3,000 jobs posted in this city. Not all of them are great, but there's over 3,000 jobs posted in the city. And we needed a job to leave the Arctic. So we chose here because the housing prices and everything else were the best. It was the best all round of all of them. Some of them had a lot less crime, but a lot more expense. Some of them had better jobs, but a lot more crime, and the houses were cheaper. Prince Albert. I could buy a house that was the same size as what I have right now, but with 3 times the yard for about $50,000 less than I paid for this one. But I had to be in Prince Albert. So I think I made the right choice for the family.
Prince Albert is either you're being stabbed, you're being robbed, or a
You're
polar
being
bear
pierced.
molesting you.
You're being pierced. My
Well,
wife asked me if I'd ever think about a Prince Albert.
I hope you would have gotten one if you moved there. I think that's an
Well,
automatic.
You know what? And the worst part is I know so many piercers in my life, and I'm like, you know, it's not only that I don't want another man to hold my junk and stick a needle through it. It's not just that. I don't want to have to, like, if I have the piercing out, I don't want to have to block the 2 holes while I pee. Like, I don't.
That's why you would need a urinal installed at your house, so that way you can just
three streams,
hose.
one going forward, one going out each side.
Yeah.
Look, it's Chad and his party tricks.
That would be a great OnlyFans video. Watch this.
Oh,
It makes
put
you
your
wonder,
finger
people
over
who.
the end and blow the load.
Oh man, how many people have that piercing just pee in the shower instead of using the toilet?
Well, I pee in the shower anyway.
No. But I mean, if they just have to go, but they're not showering, just like, well, I'll just go in here.
Oh,
I might do that to the upstairs
instead of
bathroom.
using the toilet.
Yeah.
The upstairs bathroom is completely in the hands of my son to clean, so that might be something I do anyway.
Marking your territory. Shame on you.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a bathroom down here, right? Me and my wife clean this one, and since the upstairs bathroom, for the most part, only my son and my daughter use, they're in charge of cleaning that one. I'm like, I'm not cleaning your piss. You piss on the floor, it's up to you to clean it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're ever walking around in your socks or sandals and you hear it sticky like apple juice, you know it's piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked at a hospital. That's the exact sound, man, when you're wearing fucking work boots and you're like, why does it sound like I'm walking through dried apple juice?
I want to ask you how you know what the sound of walking through dried apple juice is, but
Because I've also worked in a fucking store where somebody came in and busted a whole bunch of Sunright bottles, and there was apple juice all over the floor, and I had to wipe it up, and as you were wiping it up on a 32-degree day, it was drying. So it was sticking, your shoes were sticking. It was like Sprite, man, just like that when you're walking. Piss does the exact same thing because the amount of sugar that the human body shoves through.
Good work, Brian.
Sorry, I'm a little fucking too descriptive with my descriptions of shit. But that's something you either love or hate about me. Oh,
That's awesome.
That's a hate. Everybody went silent.
No. I was sniffing my wedding ring.
We're processing what you said.
Oh,
Okay, well, Chad knows I'm a little, well, polite way is eccentric, weird way is autistic. So take your pick. I'm one of the two, and I also have dyslexia. So
That's okay.
I really don't have much of a filter.
Ah,
cheers, gents. My brother lives in Okanagan in BC. Beautiful country, but crazy expensive. All the rich from Vancouver and Calgary retire there. I think Kelowna is the fastest growing city in Canada. I'm looking
Also,
around, so appreciate
also
the feedback. Yeah, so Jules, if you're looking around, I do think, in all honesty, if you're looking at between, I would take Winnipeg out, period. I wouldn't go to Winnipeg. Winnipeg's crime is worse than all of Saskatchewan, and Saskatchewan has some high crime rates.
Okay,
A lot of Saskatchewan's...
Back in the 80s, in the early 80s, 80 through 85, did murder capital of Canada switch between Regina and Winnipeg?
And then it turned to Thunder Bay in Ontario.
Yep.
But yeah, so a lot of the crime, though, is native on native gangs. It is. And if you're looking at buying something in Regina, they tell you to stay away from North Central. North Central is the ghetto. I am close to the ghetto, but I'm not quite in the ghetto. I am ghetto adjacent, so sometimes the night crawlers wander out.
Oh my God!
How far away are you from it?
A couple blocks, like 2 blocks that way and 2 blocks that way.
North of you, south of you?
Northwest.
Yeah,
Oh.
northwest.
Just because I know where you live on a map, so I'm just kind of curious.
The other side of the main street, he's almost bordering.
Yeah,
that was my next question. The
main street
road.
bordering. Once you go past that, and you're on the next cross street that runs parallel with it. That's the street that runs through the ghetto. Okay. And then you go 2 streets past mine, and one street, and that 2 streets up, and you're basically there.
The saving grace of where he lives is he's a block and a half away from the best freaking ice cream parlor in all of Regina. Like, dead serious. That place attracts people like you would not believe. They still make in-house ice cream, not ice milk.
Nice. Have you been there yet, Chad?
I'm currently stateside, but looking to return to Canada shortly, so weighing my options. And again,
what kind of work are you into?
Yeah, what type of work do you do? That type of stuff. I originally was going to go out east when I first moved to the Arctic. My plan was to pay off all my debts and move out east. And then so many people from Toronto moved out to New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. The housing prices skyrocketed, and there's no my plan was to pay off my debts and move out there, because if I had all my debts paid off and I was living out there, I could live comfortably even on minimum wage. I didn't care. And then when the housing prices went from $30,000 for a 3-floor fucking apartment building complex to the same apartment building complex jumping to $600,000, I was like, yeah, you can't afford to live there on minimum wage anymore. There's nothing but retail and fucking fishing there. What the fuck are you gonna do? And so then we came out this way, and the prices here went up too, but they didn't go up like they did throughout the rest of the country. The house I'm in right now is probably the biggest house I've been in all the houses I've owned, and it's not the cheapest of the 3 houses I've bought, but it's in the middle. But it's a lot bigger than the cheapest I paid for, and it's a lot bigger than the most expensive I paid for. And it was originally up on the market at $215. and it dropped to 185, and I offered them 155, and they were like, "Well, do you want to take it now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm still in the Arctic. I don't want to take it now. Why do they want me to take it now?" Well, they don't want to pay heating. I'm like, "Tell them I'll give them another $500 to pay the heating bill for the next 2 months." They're like, "Okay." So that's yeah.
Good deal.
If you can live adjacent to, yeah, you get way better prices, like super good prices. I've rented in the hood, and because of the way I look, I've been accused of being a skinhead, and I'm not. But I've been turned around, and I've lived in the hood. And if you're looking to rent and you have nothing to worry about being stolen, you could live in the hood. It's way stupid cheaper, but there is
Well,
that
I mean,
risk.
it also depends where in the hood you're living, right? Like when I was talking to my real estate agent, he's like, "Well, this area is not. This area is what was the wording he used? I can't even remember, but it was basically, you don't want to live here." And I go, "Well, why?" And he's like, "Well, this spot has a lot of assaults and breaking and entering." He goes, basically, there's a lot of drugs and gangs on this street. Okay. What about this one? He goes, "Well, this one has prostitutes." I go, "Well, I can get along with that." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, if my wife says no to me, the prostitute's right on my driveway, according to you, so I'm okay with that." And he looked at me and I go, "Well, really, come on now." I go, "A pimp doesn't want the cops around. A pimp makes sure people fucking follow the rules so that the cops don't come."
Yeah.
Because the ghetto here is an entire fairly large section of the city, but some parts of the ghetto are a lot nicer than others, and they are doing attrition and everything else. Like they are trying to better the place. Some streets are getting better than others, so it matters where you go. But I mean, there's also some scary priced houses out here, but there's some really nice ones. Like there's like 6 houses for sale on the street beside me, which puts you one street closer to the ghetto, but you're still not part of the ghetto. But they're really nice houses, and they're all under $200,000. So it's nice. It is, and I mean, a lot of the things that we get, because it's usually night crawlers. It's crimes of opportunity, right? So like you left your window open or something. My wife left our bathroom window open our first week here. Yeah, we moved here in February. She still left the bathroom. We were living in the Arctic. Okay, fuck off. It was warm here. So,
it was minus 40. It was warm.
Yeah. So she left the window open, and they tried to come in, and my Great Pyrenees met them, and they no longer tried to come in. That's basically how that went. So.
Spice rum passed. Innocent gun, spice rum.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's something I've never seen before.
You can't get those here anymore. They're all sold out.
Well, it was that letdown of a Christmas package, right?
It didn't have a cup in it. And I even said that to Nick. I'm like, "Nick, there was no glass this year." He kept trying to get me to go buy the Vantage Point because he knows that I like to support breweries, right? Because he wanted me to review the Vantage Point because I guess Google still loves watching my reviews. And I'm like, but the Vantage Point is a $20 bottle in Ontario, which means it's going to be like a $30 bottle here. And I refuse to pay $30 for one bottle of beer. You want me to review it? You better fucking send it to me.
Oh, there you go. Oh, Black Roast. Is that the one you're telling me about?
No, this is Kraken. This is a special bottle. It's black coffee flavored.
Oh.
It's amazing over vanilla ice cream, man. Holy shit. It's just dangerous. It's also really nice when you're out camping if you have a cup of hot
Mexican chocolate.
What's that?
I'm reading Chad's can. Mexican chocolate salted porter.
Ooh.
When I picked this up too, I actually was thinking about James.
Oh, thank you.
And then I'm drinking it without him because I'm an ass.
That's okay. You bought it. Why are you feeling assholeish? It's yours.
A lot of times, especially when I have somebody that does reviews with me, I try to look for beers that they're going to enjoy at the same time, or things that they've never experienced. a lot of times that's something else I'll look for is beers that they would never have experienced before, just to see what they think of it.
Okay, well, I'm a virgin, and you know that. Oh. It literally smells like coffee syrup. And I'm getting a Pepsi to mix with that. But that stuff is literally amazing. If you ever get the chance, or you get a chance to have a shot of it, it doesn't taste much like rum. It tastes like alcohol and black coffee, and it outdoes Kahlua by a long shot. Kahlua is a flavored liqueur. This is rum with coffee.
So along that lines, the only tequila I've ever liked was Patron Cafe, which was the coffee flavored Patron.
Yeah,
That
and
was
how much a
good
bottle?
stuff. Oh, I don't know. I got to drink it at a tasting event at work.
Well, I'll tell you right now, what is it? Not even a 26. A 26 is over $100 for Patron.
So when I worked at the place that Brian works right now, I got kicked out of a tasting event because we had just bought 2 bottles of Black Pearl, and Black Pearl is the most expensive bottles of cognac you can get. They're like $30,000 a bottle.
Holy
And
shit.
they were having us try Louis XIII because Remy Martin is who makes Black Pearl, and Louis XIII is their $210 a shot cognac. So they had us trying Louis XIII.
$265 now.
$265 now? Wow.
Yep.
So
Per
we're
shot?
sitting there, and they had the fancy glasses. They were like, they're basically tulip well, not tulip, they were almost hurricane glasses. So they had a bubble, and then they had a flare at the top. So it's a bubble, and then it goes to a flute. And it's supposed to put the cognac at the right part of your tongue to taste everything. And they had us sitting there, and we had a little bit of Louis XIII, we had a little bit of regular Remy Martin, and then we had Remy Martin. It was VS, VSOP, XO, and then Louis XIII. So we had the 4 regulars, right? Like from the $8 shot up to the 210 at the time dollar shot. And I got kicked out because, again, at this point in time, I was already a certificated Cicerone and beer judge and everything else. And I'm like, boom, boom, boom. And I got to the last one, and they were waiting to see what I'd say. And I hit it back, and I put it down, and I go, it doesn't taste much different than the $8 shot. It's just a lot smoother. And I got kicked out for that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're charging $202 more, and it does not taste any different. It just doesn't have an alcohol burn. Like, that's the only difference. I'm not paying $202 more for no alcohol burn.
Well, that's like there was a guy on TikTok or Facebook, one of the two, turned around and he took apart a Ferrari. A lot of the parts are made by Audi.
Interesting.
So what are you paying for?
The name, the badge.
Exactly.
Well, if we're still talking when we go offline, I'll tell you a story about my buddy Boychuk and how he made a lot of the money he made. Because it's a pretty good story.
Sounds good.
It's just not something I should speak out loud.
Yeah. Oh, I understand that.
Well, I'll take your word for it because I don't know what it's about, so I'll just trust you.
It's
and I
about
shouldn't
cars.
mention it.
Yeah.
It's nothing that should be broadcast online, James.
Exactly.
He worked for a lot of high-end car companies, and he did something, and yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay, so let's see. There's a story about this beer. So there's a story. I see, Jules, that you wrote something. We'll read it in a second. So the Mexican chocolate salted porter has a story from Fieldhouse in Abbotsford, British Columbia. And it is 6% alcohol, and the story is, one second.
Yes, to clear his
I'll be right back.
Inspired by the often spiced chocolate of Mexico, this beer starts with a smooth, dark base of pale, roasted and caramelized malts. Diverging from tradition, we then added Vancouver Island sea salt, roasted cacao nibs, whole cinnamon sticks soaked in bourbon, vanilla, and our own farm-grown house-roasted chili peppers, transforming the simple porter into a slightly spicy, lightly sweet, chocolate-forward, delicious winter warmer.
chocolate and chili spices. Interesting.
Yes.
So they my question is they trying to imitate a mole sauce? Because mole sauces use Mexican chocolate,
Are
which
you
where it's
saying,
fibrous.
Jules? Holy shit! The casino was selling Louis XIII for cheaper than in Toronto. Wow. Wow.
That's insane. That's like that one beer you told me that's in a squirrel.
Another really expensive beer you can buy is Samuel Adams Utopia, and it's several $100s a bottle. And it comes in a resealable bottle that really does look almost like a whiskey / cognac type of bottle. It's a good beer, it really is, but I would never. I tried it once. I have a video of it up. I would never allow myself to pay that money for it, like ever.
Even
It
if
was
you won
one of-
millions.
It was one of my viewers that became a friend of mine who had his own channel too, and for one of my beer festivals, he brought it as his one bottle. Like we all brought like 25 bottles for us all to share for the like. When I would do my beer review, it would become my beer festival. Sorry, it would become a thing. Like Brian can tell you, I would take 2 weeks off. I would take the week leading up to my festival off, and the week after. And the week leading up to my festival, all my buddies would come from all over the country, and we would have like bottle shares and everything. We were basically drunk out of our mind every night. And then the week after, I would go and deliver my profits to the Ronald McDonald House, and then I would just do nothing because I'm like, hey, I don't have to do anything anymore. And so that would like we would all bring like a 24 pack of special bottles that we wanted to share with everybody, and he brought just that one because it cost as much as the 24 bottles would have cost. And yeah, it was really amazing to try it, but I don't think I would ever allow myself to pay the money for Utopia. And no.
Well, you at one point said something about a beer that came in a squirrel skin.
Yes, from Brewdog in Scotland. Oh no, Jules at the Sam Adams at 20% is nothing. Snake Venom is over 50% alcohol, and a lot of Brewdog beers are higher than 22. Sink the Bismarck, Tactical Nuclear Penguin. The one in the squirrel is the End of the World. I gotta look it up here. 1 second. Give me a moment here. Give me a moment, ski.
What are you eating, Brian? I don't think you can hear me over this crunching. I think you might be eating chips.
I am.
Are they American or Canadian chips?
They said Canadian on the tag at the store.
Brewdog's The End of History is one of the most expensive beers in the world, costing up to $20,000 per bottle.
I don't understand how alcohol can be that expensive when it's just fermented whatever.
There you go, James.
You know, when you first told me, it just had me thinking of that cartoon character Scat stretched over a beer bottle.
I mean, to an extent, you could say it's better than scat.
Jesus Christ.
My question is, who actually took the time to stretch a squirrel over a beer bottle?
Somebody at Brewdog. Well, probably one of their friends or something.
Well, the squirrel skin better be reusable.
And end of history is 55% ABV
Holy shit.
as a beer.
Yeah, I think the ABV on Kraken is like 30.
Is that just a standard size bottle of beer, or is it like a little bit bigger?
No, it can't be much bigger. It's in a squirrel, Brian. It's in a squirrel.
Well, if it's a Saskatchewan squirrel, one of the red ones, it could be really big. Those suckers are at least 2.5 liters.
I gotta go take a pee. James, you're in charge while I'm gone.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Tad's
Now
gonna
you're in
fart.
trouble.
He's
I'm
gonna
not
fart.
I'm not
I already
gonna
did
fart.
that, fuck. I was sitting on a couch cushion. You couldn't hear it.
Oh, we could. We're just being polite.
No, yeah, I don't
So
know
what's
much about
what's been
beer.
going on out there?
Pardon me?
So what's been going on out there lately? Out in the Regina area.
Like Chad said, the weather up until this past week has been absolute shit. Like literally minus 40 for like days on end. No break.
Oh yeah.
This past week it went from minus 40 in one day to a windy day the next day and then +2.
Oh nice.
And it was like +2 for like 4 days straight. So we've lost a lot of snow, but of course, what was it? Yesterday I was at work. Just before I was coming home, it started lightly snowing.
Ah.
And then this morning, and I don't know if it happened in Regina or not, but I know out here all day it was nothing but fog. So all the trees
Oh.
out here are covered in frost again.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool to see.
Well, it's kind of unusual. When I was a kid in Saskatchewan, we didn't get fog in winter. We didn't get freezing rain.
Just so you know, motherfucker, I had to not push so I didn't fart.
Well, at
It's
least
okay.
it wasn't wet and shitty.
I wish you were on that one time that Chad went to go to the bathroom. Like, oh, we're gonna listen to him fart now, and on cue he tears one off,
That
and he
would
had no
never
idea.
happen.
This is like I don't know
Never.
how many months ago.
All I
I
know,
know I commented on the live chat because I went and I
You
clicked on
did.
the
You
time.
gave a timestamp.
Yeah, I time stamped it. I'm like, oh, look at this. This is perfect. Fucking
I'm
the
gonna
amazing
be honest.
Kreskin over here.
I'm gonna be honest. Chad is like a younger brother, and he's absolutely freaking hilarious. I love hanging around with you, man. If I don't say the weird shit, you will, and that you make me proud, boy.
You should have seen how uncomfortable I had Rick when he handed in his badge to leave.
Oh, I have no idea. I kind of left him alone because for the last 2 hours of his shift, he stood in 22 talking to customers. He literally, the same customers, he didn't leave them. And you could tell as he was walking by every so often, they were getting a little bit more uncomfortable that they wanted to go, but he wouldn't let them go. What did you do to him?
I was just me. That's all. Just me.
Oh, I thought for a second I thought you said just mean.
No. I was just being me, and it made him very.
I missed that
uncomfortable.
story. My thing's refreshed.
Oh, one of our fellow employees, he quit the other day because he's going to another job. But
Okay.
he's very, very neurodivergent. He's a nice guy. He's very, very neurodivergent, and he gets fixated on things very easily, unfortunately. to the point where he could almost cripple
Okay.
himself when he's trying to do his job. But
Oh,
Chad
man.
was talking about how he made him uncomfortable when he was handing in his badge to leave. But
Meh.
I don't know what happened because he never explained.
It's just another offline story.
Yes, it pretty much is. It's almost
Fair
like
enough,
another
'cause-
certain employee, another certain team member or employee that goes to the washroom all the time, and I like to go in after them and sit beside them in the stall and ask them for toilet paper until they leave.
Oh, that's the one the other night that I complained that was missing for half an hour, and I had to hand the phone over to somebody else.
Probably. They have long hair. Just
No, the 3-part person.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
One day you're going to be in that stall, Chad, and you're going to run out of toilet paper, and no one's going to believe you.
No. Like they have a they have an ability to sit in the washroom as long as they want now because of a doctor's note. So I go and sit beside them and harass them the entire time they're there about how I'm out of toilet paper, or I ask them how they're doing. I asked them why it smells so bad
That's
in
what
there.
was being said. Okay, I couldn't figure out when I went and asked and said I got to hand the phone over to someone else. Your counterpart in the warehouse said, well, they were supposed to call before they went. And I was like, what? I had no idea.
Yeah, no, I like to sit beside them on the stall beside them and be like, oh, something smells in here. What is it? How are you doing? What's going on? Oh, do you have any toilet paper in there? I'm out over here. I should have checked before I sat. Oh, why is it so greasy? What did I eat? I just go
God.
until they leave.
Well, at least you're not describing the toilet seat as being greasy.
No.
That's after he's done. The
The
underside of the
best
seat
part
is
was
going to
that
be greasy.
the one day I did that, and I guess Clarence was in there peeing, and I caught him on the floor later, and he goes, "What were you doing?" He showed me the video of me and you setting up that tent too. He's so proud of that video.
He's a nice guy. He's just Clarence. There's no other way to describe him. He's just him.
He's a much older version of the two of us.
Oh, absolutely. When I started there, he absolutely clung on to me when he found out I was diabetic because he's diabetic. So he was like all over that, and now he was asking questions. I told him, dude, you need to take care of yourself. And he went through a few months of looking really haggard because he was used to eating freaking sugar. Oh, what's that one?
That's the same one. That's a fucking good beer. Oh my god,
Good.
I would give that a 9 out of 10. I would do the Porter Dance, motherfucker.
So where did you find that one?
Urban Cellars on Quants.
I will have to try that. We have a Sobeys out in the town that's next to me, Hank.
Do you?
Yep. It's in White City.
I have a
don't
Walmart
go to
in town.
Sobeys liquor often because it's so much more expensive than every other one I went to. I will give that the Co-op liquor is actually probably the cheapest liquor store I've been in.
Co-op has a liquor store? What the?
Oh yeah.
Where's
They're
the
building
Co-op
one right by where we are because we're right by where our job is because you need another liquor store there.
There's a co-op that holds booze?
No, it's a standalone, just like the Sobeys liquor.
I didn't even know there was a co-op booze.
Yeah, there's Co-op liquors. So what's going to be in those like 4 blocks from our work is going to be the Urban Cellars, Real Canadian Superstore liquor store, which is inside the Real Canadian Superstore, the Sobeys liquor, which is a standalone, and then a Co-op liquor, which is going to be a standalone.
Where the hell's the co-op?
They're building it right now. It's
Oh, I thought you meant it was already built. I'm kind of like, I didn't hear anything about co-op selling anything but gas or groceries.
no, well they sell liquor out in Harbor Landing. They have a Co-op liquor in Harbor Landing.
Wow,
But they're
that's
building
news to
one.
me.
They're building one right by the place that we are employed at.
That's interesting. So we can leave and get some booze and go home.
Yeah, and you can leave and get some booze and go home now. I mean, you could just have to go to Sobeys Liquor, Urban Cellars, or Real Canadian Superstore. But
Well,
very
Sobeys
soon,
is down a way, but Superstore and Urban Cellars are within a block.
they're across the street.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You can go on your 15-minute coffee break, get a beer, and come back to work.
Could you imagine trying to shove that shit in your locker? Can you imagine Jen? What the hell are you hauling into the store?
I gave her one of my Screech coffees, the rum flavored coffee, and she's like, "I love this." She goes, "It smells like rum, and there's no rum in it. I can drink this forever." And once they've realized that I'm drinking this, I can put real rum in.
Oh, okay. Last year at our company party, I turned around and I bought her a couple of tequila shots because she's sitting there going, oh, "I'm gonna need to drink." Oh, what's this? Ultra
Michelob
Ultra. Okay. Anyway, at the Christmas party gathering thing that we had, I turned around and she was sitting there kind of like, "I'm gonna have a couple of drinks that night." Instead of, "Good, I'll buy you a tequila shot." She looked at me. She goes, "What?" I said, "Yep." So I bought her the shot. She's not as used to drinking as I thought she was, and she made out to be, because she went home and was passing out on the couch.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't buy her more than 2 shots.
Her
But all
husband
the
says
other
he hates
people-
seeing me.
All the other people that are in Chad's position were cheering that I did it, because they're kind of like, "She needs to relax." Yeah, I know. That's why I bought her these, and she's my friend, so that's why I did it.
Her husband hates when he sees me, because if he sees me walking up towards him, he knows that she's had a bad day, and I'm warning him to run away.
Yeah. He should appreciate that.
No, well, he has to drive her home, right? He comes to pick her up, and he comes to pick her up, and I sneak over there, and I'm like, "Run away." He's like, "Really? Run."
He's a very nice guy, though.
He is.
He's a really nice guy.
She's told me, though, he told me that anytime he sees you walking up there like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to get in the car, he gets worried about what I'm going to say when I get in the car.
Paula's the same way. She'll look at me and she'll go and say, Did you visit with Chad today? Did you have a good day? Did you joke around with Linda? Blah, 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 blah. And if I haven't, she goes, "Oh, you didn't have a good day." Just due to the fact is that there's certain people at work that keep me sane. Other ones, I don't even see them anymore.
Linda just watched that video I sent you about the ceiling fans, and she's like, I felt the anvils. Like, "Oh, so did I."
Yeah. Is it
No, Malty, we were showing pictures of End of History from the one, the only Brewdog. So End of History is the $20,000 beer, the beer inside the taxidermied squirrel.
We should build a beer here. We got way more than enough gophers, Chad. Call it prairie dog piss.
Oh, God. Serve with prairie oysters. Come on.
Yeah, no fuck, man. The prairie oyster's a totally different critter.
That's what you got to gear it with.
When my 2 kids that live with my ex-wife came to visit this summer, and my eldest daughter, my adopted daughter from my current marriage, when the 3 of them came to visit and they saw a prairie dog for the first time, they're like, "What the fuck is that?" That's a prairie dog. What are you talking?
So the funny thing about this is that everybody talks about down east and in the U.S. the groundhog. When we have spring, the gophers are out. That's the only that's when you know spring is in Saskatchewan, is when a fucking gopher appears. Those little fuckers are out the first thing, and if they aren't out, it's not spring yet.
I was taking a vote at work last night. Before it started.
Oh, those are great.
Before it started snowing, I was taking a vote. I'm like, should we chance the wrath of the blonde lady and put the skids just outside, or should we keep them in the warehouse?
The good ones, you mean?
No. Like, well, you know how we usually keep the stacks of skids outside?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday when I was working, there was almost no ice. So I'm like, should we? Because the blonde lady didn't want them to go outside yet, but there's like 6 stacks of skids in the back, and I'm trying to empty the warehouse. I'm like, should we?
I thought only the bad ones went out.
No, we put them all out there until Mr. Glenn comes to pick them up.
Oh, okay.
But so we were taking votes, and everybody was like, "Yeah, we should put them out." And then it started snowing. I'm like, "I guess we can't put them out, guys." And they're like, "Yeah."
Well, it would have given us so much more room.
Yep.
Even a skid's worth of space right now is at a premium.
Yep.
Got to sell more stuff. Come on.
We're fucking trying, trust me.
If you were telling me you were going to buy what you asked me about, I would call Ashley up right now and be like, "Hey, do you want 3 more?"
Well, how fast could they get them?
Glenn shows up at my store on Wednesdays, so then it would be in Winnipeg on Wednesday night. So it would ship out of Winnipeg Thursday morning, and it would probably be in St. Catharines in 7 to 10 days.
But if it's coming from Milton or Winnipeg directly instead of out of wherever, it could be a shorter time frame.
Well, he's in Niagara Falls, so he is going to St. Catharines.
Yes, but how far away is Milton from him? Because if it's in the Milton warehouse,
Jules is calling you out right now, Brian.
I know. I took a good nap this afternoon. I skipped a couple meals today.
oh, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom. And
Did
as
you
you
guys-
know,
Sadly,
the more drunk
I
I
haven't-
get, the more shots I get.
I was trying to pee slowly so you wouldn't hear me.
I haven't been on the stream for 100 minutes though, but yeah, I was eating before that though. I have Elimination Chamber on the TV. I should get you to send some of the ice melter stuff down this way.
Do you have a lot of ice right now?
We had a few good days of a good melt, but then it dropped back down to -12 today.
Yeah, like we had almost a week of like +3 to the point where
Yeah.
I can see grass.
That's what James was saying when you went and took a piss. Said we had some nice weather, melted snow, nice.
Yeah, there's no roof rakes in town though, so my roof is still filled with snow, which saddens me because I'm worried that it's going to come into my attic. So
Yeah.
far it hasn't. Like I go up to the attic all the time to check, since the attic is a loft where I can walk up and just check. And it's
Yeah.
looking good so far, but I'm worried.
Would you consider getting those those heated roof things to stop the ice dam? I know somewhere that
What I
has them on.
want to get-
on
what I
sale.
want to get, because it also opens up your
Gutter.
gutters, is those roof pucks you used to be able to buy at Canadian Tire, where you just threw them up and it would help melt it all the way out.
Yeah.
Because it was basically ice salt, but in a puck, and you threw it up on top and it just melted down. I want to get more of those, but I can't find roof melt anymore.
We don't have them here.
Why not? We have the most snow in the country.
Just due to the fact is that it gets cold enough here that salt is ineffective. Once it reaches a certain temperature, it won't actually melt, and you end up with a bigger ice dam.
But what I
So
can do is wait till it hits fucking +1, throw it up there, and get the salt all the way out of my yard.
Yeah, but we also sell those extension cord things that you tape or tack down to your roof and to your gutter and back and forth to eliminate some of the root ice dams.
My
That's
roof
what we
is
sell
like
here.
6 feet high. I'm not going up there.
Oh, you
I
hire
know.
someone.
Brian, I owe my ex-wife so much money, I can't hire anyone to do anything for about 3 more years.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
If I'm not doing it, nobody's doing it. And I'm not climbing a ladder up that high. I'm fucking scared of heights. Once I can't see the ground, I'm not doing it.
Dude, you're a blind man. You have no idea how
Once I
high
can't
up
see
you
the
are.
ground, I'm fucked.
Well, that should be about 2 feet above his head then.
He's blind with convenience. If you ever notice that,
What are you talking about blind with convenience?
because you will suddenly be able to see something in broad daylight with detail, and then the next minute you'll be like, "I couldn't see it. I'm a blind guy."
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you can see the lines on the road when you're driving in a passenger seat of a car. Hey, watch out for that squirrel over there. You know, I
don't
can't
know.
read that. I can't read that large billboard on that side of the McDonald's there. I don't know what that is.
I am glad he is your friend, Chad, for the simple fact is that I am afraid to say half the shit I usually would say to you. Just due to the fact that I don't know if I'm going to get canned by HR or not.
Oh, Chad would warn you if you were going over the line. He'd be decent enough to warn you. Hey, that's a little too far.
And how
Exactly.
many times have I ever said that's too far?
You've never said it to me.
He's actually looked at me and said, "Fuck off, James."
That fuck off means you got him good. He's like, fuck off. He can't dispute it.
No, it's the tilt of the head when he looks down and looks over his shoulder at you and goes, "Fuck off, James." I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Brian's right. That's basically you got me and I can't come back.
Yeah. They're like, fuck.
Usually I have something. I'm usually quick enough to have something.
Yeah.
The problem is that I'm a fucking extreme asshole and I don't know when to stop. So if I start opening my mouth, usually the fucking hinge falls off and everything just falls out. Chad
Hey.
has seen that happen and he's gone like, "Fuck, man, shut up."
Yeah. That fuck man is like, hey, you're going too far. Someone else hears it. Shit.
But it's not even about him. It's just in general. I'll fucking
Yeah.
my mouth will fall open and everything will fall out. And Chad's like, "Shut the fuck up, look."
He's just helping protect you. That's all he's doing.
I know, but that's the problem is I do not have a filter. So it's like, okay, I got to judge everything by Chad, but he's got very little of a filter. Like some of the other people we work with look at me and laugh. Some of them go, "Hmm," and the ones that go, might have a little bit more power.
Yeah.
But I'm not
but
sure whether or
then
not they
some of
like
those
me
ones
enough
come
to
to
keep
me
my
and go,
ass
"This is
around.
what was just said," and I giggle and walk away.
You just like to watch people squirm when I open my mouth and just say weird shit.
Especially if it's Logan. I like making Logan squirm.
Hey, speaking of Logan Paul just entered the Elimination Chamber match.
I still have not watched wrestling in so long. It's not funny.
It's on Netflix now.
I know it's on Netflix. I still haven't watched any wrestling.
It's in Toronto. It's at Skydome.
I keep seeing ads on TikTok about a wrestling match and some dude with flame sunglasses, and I don't even know who he is. Someone putting a boot to the back of somebody's head, and I'm kind of like, what the fuck is this?
That could be anybody.
I don't know. It looks like some sort of professional wrestling gig that they're talking about, but I haven't watched the full thing. I'm like, dude, I haven't watched wrestling since The Undertaker was fucking popular.
He still is popular, but he just doesn't wrestle anymore.
Well, okay, when he was wrestling,
Yeah.
before he got rid of Paul Bearer, that's when I was into it.
Ooh.
This one, Jules, was a 9. I would buy this again and again and again and again and again.
How many have you had?
5.
Of those? No, I mean of that particular one.
He's had 5 total.
Yeah.
4 of them we've seen so far.
No, you've seen all 5. I did all 5 on camera.
I didn't see the other one in the beginning, obviously, because when I came in, your wife was standing there talking, accusing you of stealing cookies.
It was drinking at the beginning.
Oh, okay. I didn't see you pour it. I saw you hold it up.
Yeah, I did. I had already poured it.
Yeah, so I came in when Your wife was standing there accusing you of stealing cookies.
Yes, she accused me of stealing her cookies because she's a bitch.
There's the alcohol talking.
No, that's me talking. I love my wife. She knows I love her. She's still a bitch for saying I stole her cookies. I'm not going to touch her cookies. I have a whole box of Joe Louis. Why am I going to steal her cookies? Like, look, I can just do this. I can roll back. I can open this here cupboard. I can reach down here and grab this here giant box of Joe Louis that hasn't been opened. Open it up and go, hey, look, I got a Joe Louis. I don't need a fucking cookie.
Hey, do a review on a Joe
Find
Louis.
a fucking random dog treat in your pocket and eat it and get the shits from it the next day.
I've done that too.
You doing a review on the Joe Louis?
The Joe Louis is going to taste like a fucking Joe Louis. It's fucking good. Just you take it and you just go, ah.
Okay, I think I found my fucking tribe, man.
Mmm.
And
You've been
What do
drinking
you-
beer, you're eating Joe Louis. I've been fucking drinking Kraken and beer, and I'm eating fucking Cheetos.
I'm doing beer, hell of a good, and chips.
What kind of chips, though?
Oh, just regular. Here, hold
No,
on.
just regular ripples. Have you ever
Yeah.
had Old Dutch down east?
I have, but this is. Do you guys have Food Basics out there?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Well, this is like their store brand.
I had a dude standing in line yesterday at Superstore giving me dirty looks because I was buying lettuce. I literally had to look at him and say, "It says product of Mexico, dude."
So I was in Costco yesterday. I went to buy some strawberries, and their sign there gave the price, and it said product of the USA. And they had tons of them there. So then I start looking at all the boxes, like, wait a minute, I see some Dole halfway down. That's not US. That's Mexico. I move a whole bunch of them out of the way, grab the Dole ones. I don't think anyone clued in what I was doing, being like, I'm picking the non-American ones.
Did you buy anything American yesterday? Because yesterday was supposed to be the economic blackout. And just so you know, Malty, not the fridge. You throw them in the freezer. You throw your Joe Louis in the freezer. Just like if you buy Leclerc cookies. Leclerc cookies are so much better once they've been frozen. Oh my God. They make you forget the fact that it was a Quebecer that made both of them.
There's a new trend out there, and I don't know how it is. I haven't tried it yet, but apparently cheesy's in the freezer.
That's how you eat a cookie. Exactly. You just shove it in. You go, boom.
Like Cookie Monster.
Yep.
I heard potato chips in the freezer make them
Ever
taste
eat Cool
pretty
Ranch Doritos out of the fridge? Fuck Cool Ranch Doritos. They're American. No, first and foremost, the only Doritos I eat is the Flamin' Hot Doritos. Cool Ranch, I hate Cool Ranch. You know why I hate Cool Ranch though? It's not because Cool Ranch is bad. It's because I used to live in the Ottawa Valley, and there was a Frito-Lay factory close to where I lived in the Ottawa Valley, and you could go in, and for $5 you could get an entire garbage bag of broken chips. And I got an entire garbage bag of Cool Ranch Doritos one time and ate the entire, and we're talking like full garbage bag. We're not talking like the little ones for the little kitchen catchers. We're talking garbage bag of Cool Ranch, and I ate them all. And I have not had a Cool Ranch chip since then. And I don't think I will ever eat another Cool Ranch chip. I had enough.
Yeah.
I could imagine the smell of that coming out of you after you ate a garbage bag full of them. Fuck.
It's still coming out of them. That's what that smell is at work in the bathroom.
What company Swiss roll did you have? Because the ones from the dollar store, they're fucking gross.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Little Debbie.
Jules, are you still here? If you tell me I should try one more beer, I will. But if I can't fuck my wife tonight, she might kill you. Just so you know. Just so you know.
Hey, I'll crack another beer out.
Chicken strips with Cool Ranch. No, I wouldn't eat them. As much as they sound like they would probably be good, I can't have another Cool Ranch chip ever in my life.
I think he batters them with the Cool Ranch.
I know he does, but no, anything to do with Cool Ranch, I can't. I can't have anything to do with Cool Ranch. How much pot do I have left? Do I have to order pot this month? Let's see.
I saw one guy actually, can't remember where it was, crushed up Doritos, and he made like battered chicken, but he used the Doritos to roll it in, and then he deep fried it.
I have 5 ounces. I guess I don't have to order anything.
No, you have to order some more. You know, it's like the sriracha sauce. Go to the store. Buy sriracha.
Get a bottle of hoisin sauce. Open the fridge.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Already got a bottle. You know what the worst part of that is? My ex-wife has taken over my daughter's TikTok. So I get this message that my daughter posted a new TikTok video. So I open it, and it's my fucking ex-wife doing this video of, go to the store, buy a bottle of hoisin sauce, open the fridge, oh no. And she's picking up like fucking Eggo waffles out of the freezer and as her hoisin sauce. But she gets confused and doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, oh my God. My first marriage was to a handicapped lady. And
It explains a lot sometimes.
the best part is every time we have a phone call, as soon as my ex-wife gets on the phone, because we make my son now do his phone calls on speakerphone because he likes to do things to his mom. As soon as he's talking to his mom and he puts her, I love that I have custody of the one that was her problem child, but I'm not allowed to see the other two ever. But so it'll be things like she calls and he's talking to her. And as soon as she comes on, my wife's like, hey, do you have any hoisin sauce? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Every time.
I just need your wife to be yelling in the back, Chad, I need some hoisin sauce.
She does that every time. Hey, Chad, is there a hoisin sauce? Do we need to buy hoisin? I'll be like, shut the fuck up, woman. Okay, Jules said I need to review one more. Oh no, that one's 10% alcohol. We're not doing that one.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never creeped my ex-wife enough to know what the fuck she's doing.
Okay, I'm taking a pee, then we'll drink our last beer, and then we'll go offline.
Oh, so Chad wants to go has to fart.
Brian, you're in charge.
Oh, I'm in charge this time? All right, well, I'm going to crack open another Michelob Ultra. I have a case of 30 of them. Gifted
And how
to me
much was
by...
that in Ontario?
I could not tell you. My dad gave them to me.
Oh, okay.
They were
So
away
what's
on
the 2
vacation.
for? What's the 2 for of, like, say, Molson Canadian?
You know what? I really don't know because I usually just buy 2 or 3 beers at a time.
Oh, I guess you're in a market where you can. We don't get that option out here.
Yeah. Well,
I
Chad's
think the
trying to
minimum
change.
we can buy is 4 at a time, and that has to be from a local brewery.
Chad, there's like one of the places Chad goes to, you can buy singles.
Well, once
I don't
in a
remember
while,
what-
but those are broken out of packs.
No, I think
Like-
there's one place where he can always get them. And then I think he said Rebellion does singles now, and that was because
Rebellion does. When we were in there, they were doing singles, but they're more expensive than buying them in the 4-pack, obviously. But
and they started singles
it
after
looks like
talking to
it's way
Chad.
more expensive. It looks like it's way more expensive than it should be.
Yeah.
And I don't, like Chad said, they usually break them out of packs because they're not selling, so they sell them individually. But I'm sitting here like, come on, you guys, when you're spending $1 more per beer than out of the 4-pack, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do it, charge 25 cents a beer more. You're still making your damn money.
Yeah, and you'll move product faster because someone will be more likely to try something different instead of, oh, I don't want to buy 4 beers of something I don't know if I
And
like it or not.
that's why I, as a Saskatchewanian, am kind of a beer virgin, because it's
Yeah.
like, do I want to spend so much money on a 4 or a 6 or a 12 pack to be able to drink it? No. My wife took a gamble the one time and bought Great Western, and
Yeah.
I hated the IPA, but she tried the regular Pilsner the next time, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's actually a good beer. I have no problem with that. It's not as skunky as Canadian can be,
Yeah.
but it's strong enough that it's going to be there, but it's not mild enough that you're like, am I drinking an IPA?
There you go. There's your answer for the price of beer.
Where's Jules quoting this price?
He may have looked it up for us.
Where though? Where? What province?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I know is that they're charging almost $1 a beer more for the singles than they are out of the 4-packs.
So
Oh, we
here
know
in
it's all
Wisconsin,
government
you can
tax.
buy a 30-pack of Miller High Life for $17.
Yeah, well, it's
Where?
also like
Wisconsin.
here's Miller High Life right here.
Wait, did you say Milwaukee Light?
No, Miller High Life.
I've had Milwaukee Light, and I had a guy, I was 17 years old, 16 years old, and he was friends of the family up from the States, and he was drinking Milwaukee Light, and he was trying to get me drunk when I was 17.
Yeah.
And I was used to drinking freaking Molson Canadian.
Yeah.
So he's looking at me like, I'm 6 in and you're 8 in and nothing's happened to you. I'm kind of like, well, there's a reason why. I'm used to 5.5 or 5% alcohol.
Well, I mean, if you go and buy Minhas beers, you can get them for cheap.
You can also get fucking rabies by wandering around in the middle of the prairies too. But do you think I'm doing that?
So
That
tonight's last beer for me is from Snake Lake Brewing Company. It is a
Ooh.
red Irish ale at 4.8% alcohol by volume, and it is Snake Lake's Marina Red Ale.
Where's this located roughly?
Marina Red. Well, Snake Lake is in Sylvan Lake, Alberta.
Okay.
It's such a pretty sounding place, but I've been through Sylvan Lake and it's not all that pretty.
You know what?
That's how they
happy
get
with?
you.
The fact that Brian will be like 3 hours away from me and not come and visit.
One of these
Sorry,
times,
guys, I got a
buddy.
Cheeto crumb that I'm trying to blow off, and it's not going anywhere. It just keeps moving around the screen.
That
There you go. Oh, that is a pretty looking beer.
does
that's
look
dark.
good.
Oh, it's even got some nice snap crackle pop.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know
One
how
of the-
many of you know this, but the more it snaps, crackles, and pops, the more I snap, crackle, and pop.
That's fucking old age in your joints, dude.
Is that how far you are from Lethbridge? Is it about 3 hours
Oh, I
or
don't.
4? I think it's like 4.
I'd have to ask. I could ask Joel. Joel's from Lethbridge.
I know I've looked it up before, and I'm like, oh, a couple hours away is like this meeting
I
point.
have
I'm like,
I have a fucking. I have a loft.
yeah.
You know what I find funny? Is that we as Canadians have no fucking idea how far something is away from us unless we've lived in that fucking province.
Well, here's the biggest problem for me, right? The biggest problem for me is I'm from Ontario, where Toronto's 2 hours away from Toronto. So when I hear somebody in Saskatchewan go, I'm 2 hours away from Regina, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're Saskatoon, whoopee-doo.
To answer your question, Jules, a lot of this is from the SRM of the types of malts they use. It's not a coloring. It's the malts they use will give off this beautiful color, and it's a beautiful ruby red color. I can see through it. It is not hazy crazy. Has a beautiful snap crackle pop. Nice off-white head scent. Oh, the scent is cherry nibs, malt, and a bready biscuitiness. This smells amazing. I love an Irish red, so when I get an Irish red, I'm really excited. Malty, you weren't here earlier. I do have your box of beer in my fridge as well. I haven't sent them out because until this week, Regina was at like -50, and I wasn't shipping anything out at -50. And now I got to wait till I get my expendable pay. My pay that comes up next week is not my expendable pay. The pay after that, I have spending money.
Can
So
you rank the smell? Yeah, I know you're drinking.
Just the smell?
Yeah,
As a beer in general or as a red ale?
either way, you can go both ways. I don't care.
Stylistically, it smells exactly like it should.
Okay.
So stylistically, I would probably have to give it an 8 or a 9. It smells
Okay.
exactly like it should. For my personal enjoyment, I wish it was a little less cherry nibs, a little more bready biscuitiness, and a little more maltiness, like a caramel scent instead of cherry nibs.
Okay.
So for me personally, probably a 6 or 7.
That's cool.
What do we have here? What did you pay for it, Rhino? This was a 4-pack. I bought it as a 4-pack. It was $16.99. So you're paying
that's not bad.
$4.25 a can. For Regina, not horrible pricing.
No.
Bought at Urban Cellars on Quants, which I have a lot of people that follow me on Untapped. And when I say Urban Cellars on Quants, there's a lot of people from Regina that were on my Untapped before I even became a resident of Saskatchewan. That are like, "You're in Saskatchewan now? I can guess where in the city you live by where you bought this." Like, you fucking stalkers. You fucking stalkers.
Well, to be honest, Chad, Regina ain't that big.
Well, the cold hitting Toronto is not the cold that hits Saskatchewan. -50 in Saskatchewan is not negative. Not -17 feels like -30 in Toronto. -30 in Toronto is nuttin', honey. I nuttin' my honey.
I'll be honest with you. The temperatures in Toronto, from what I understand from other people that have immigrated here, it's a wet cold. You'll get -30 overnight. It'll melt and go away. Here, when it hits -30, it stays fucking -30. The snow does not melt. The water does not appear. It is ice continuously. I saw somebody best describe our roads. They're nothing but fucking potholes until spring, when we actually develop real potholes instead of ice.
So I went to walk my St. Bernard today, and my sidewalk is completely ice-free. Nobody else on my entire block is, and I almost died like 8 times. And I'm like, "We're going home, Otis. Let's go."
Yeah,
He was not happy with me.
I bailed 2 weeks ago walking my dog. I was laughing.
The best part was my Great Pyrenees was chewing a bone, so she didn't even realize that me and the St. Bernard left. And when we came back, she still didn't realize we had left. She was still chewing her bone. I'm like, "You're a fucking idiot. You're supposed to be the guard dog, and you have no idea that we left the house."
Nice.
This is actually a really good beer. It's not, again, like one of my beers earlier tonight, like my Torchlight. It's not the most flavorful beer I've had. But it is stylistically spot on. Caramel, cherry nibs, a little bit of roasty toastiness, a little bit of copper coin, a little bit of burnt caramel. It's exactly what an Irish red should be, and it's under 5%, which means you can drink a lot of them. Hell, I've had 5. This is my 6th beer. I can still pork my wife later tonight because even though I'm 42, there's nothing affecting my dangly bits. Everything is good.
Oh, he's just talking his romance language now.
Yep.
He's trying to be romantic, hoping she can hear him from upstairs.
She's texting me right now, asking me when I'm coming up. She wants me to watch. She wants me to watch 90 Day Fiance with her. I have like 3 minutes left because I told her at 9 I'd be up in like 15 minutes.
Why doesn't she just like pop into the live chat and just, bully to show up?
Okay, before we started dating, when we were just talking online,
Yeah.
because I was still too scared to tell her how I felt about her since high school, and I used to have all those like onesies and fucking rompers and stuff.
Yeah,
I was on in my bear onesie, and she was like, "I never thought I'd be turned on by a weirdo in a fucking bear onesie, but I may or may not have double clicked my mouse to that." And I'm like, I'm coming over right now. I'm like walking to Welland. I'll see you.
Yeah. See you in 6 hours. Keep clicking them out.
I can actually fucking relate because my wife likes the Scottish accent. She thinks it's fucking awesome. So I can relate by the weirdness. She's not too turned on by the Grinch, though.
James, I have 3 Santa suits since I moved here, and one of them is solely for the bedroom. The other 2 are for when I'm doing other things.
Yeah, I'm not dressing up as the Grinch for her.
I'll dress up as Santa.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not... Could you imagine how much green would come off on my sheets?
I don't do the laundry.
Well, my wife's not too interested in the Grinch, but she is interested in the Scotsman, so that's a good...
Anyway, to everybody on YouTube, I like that beer. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. I got to go.
Hey, John Cena just won a match.
No, he did not. He doesn't win matches.